gonna do that? Man. Hey.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another Relationship Thursday.
Hey.
Please don't knock it over, babe.
Nah, but why don't you have this? Why do you have it so far? Like, why do you do this?
I'm sorry.
Get over. What the heck?
We're trying to get situated, though.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta have some patience for us. Because you know, we got 5 kids. We gotta get people in the bed. You know what I mean? We gotta do lots of stuff. I don't know what I'm looking like. Hey, I see you, Andre. I see Tamika. My sister Fine 29.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another Relationship Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you can hear us okay.
Fine 29 said, what are y'all doing?
We knocking over stuff.
We knocking stuff over. We trying to get it together. I'm hungry right now. We got all kind of stuff going on. Look, turn it down. If you are joining us for the first time, if you are one of the people who are coming in, what's up, Rochelle? I see you. My name is Iana Ma'at, and this is my fabulous husband, my boo thing, all of that. What's up, Dave? I see you. You know, we do this thing. Oh, what's your name? What's your name?
My name is Ayize.
Thank you for the hearts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for the hearts.
We're going to go to the break it down part in a minute.
Hold on, bro. No,
I'm just
you got to let this thing warm for a second, all right?
I know.
You got to let it sit in the pot for a second. Just let it warm.
So look, tonight, y'all, we're going to be talking about conflict management. Turn that thing down. We're going to be talking about conflict management because so many people talk about beefing, these issues, these things that they get into with their partners. And, you know, it is a never-ending subject. It is a never-ending request. Danielle, I see you. Jamie, I see you. Carolyn Johnson, I see you. Jade, I see you. And look, I know that I'm not the only one who gets a little irritated. Not irritated, but irritated.
Mm-hmm.
A little irritated. This one right here is my divine compliment. But as we say all the time, he is also my divine opposite. So he challenges me in very interesting ways. And sometimes I just want to say a few words.
Just a few?
A few choice words.
I don't know if you could just say a few words.
But
I'm just saying.
What?
I'm just saying.
I don't know how.
Nah.
Okay.
You got more than a few words.
Okay, that's
all the time.
Excuse me?
All the time. Every day, all day.
That's not true, girl.
Yes, you do.
I mean, I do a few words sometimes. Anyway, the point is, y'all, that we all be thankful.
Mm-hmm. Thankful for what I got.
You thankful what you got? Hold up.
Yes, baby.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hey. So look, let me keep on with my point. So LaDonna, I see you. Michelangelo Burwell, I see you.
What's up, Michael?
That's my childhood friend, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have our issues, y'all. We have our personalities. There are things that just kind of disconnect and get in the way when you're in relationship with somebody. Especially when you've been in a relationship with them for a minute and you're trying to figure out how to flow with them and still maintain you. You know, what we have to understand is that it's a part of being in a committed relationship. And so we want to give y'all some strategies tonight so you know how to resolve some conflict. You know how to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm listening for my part. Sorry, y'all. Oh, hold up. Hey! You turn it up. Hey!
You're getting it, huh,
Okay, I just had to do that real quick. Sorry. Okay. Yes, this is it right here. Hey! Hey! Okay, y'all ready? Jaisha, I see you. Where are y'all coming from? Anybody represent the DMV?
Yeah, let us know where y'all coming from. And
DC,
please share this video, y'all. Please share this video.
Anybody know about this? This is Go-Go, Stephanie. Stephanie, I'm disappointed. She said, is this house music or Go-Go?
Really?
I'm going to need you to...
Stephanie?
Come on now. Come on. What's up, Shannon? I see you, sis. All right, let's turn it down. Right here. This is Subtle Thoughts. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started this evening. So if you resonate with, if you understand a little bit about being irritated in a relationship, yes, Tamika with the gangster lean, then this is the right live stream for you, because what we know for sure is that if you are in relationship, in genuine relationship,
I like the cowbell.
What are you doing?
I like the cowbell.
Okay, we're moving on. If you're in genuine relationship, and I put that out there because a lot of us know how to fake it. Mm-hmm. Okay, we know how to fake it. Bruce is watching from the National Harbor. Go ahead, Bruce. I see you.
What's up, Bruce?
Michelle is watching from
I'm gonna give Bruce a shout out,
Maryland.
Let me say this about Bruce.
Okay.
Hey, Bruce. I want to say thank you. Bruce participated in our Black Marriage Day event that we had last month, and Bruce had the courage to really operate from a space of authenticity, transparency, and put some things out there on the table that a lot of guys ain't really necessarily trying to talk about. We had a separate men's session. Bruce was keeping that thing real. So thank you, Bruce. And we need more brothers like you to be able to, lift some things up, especially as it pertains to our relationships and things that we need to do better as men. But also, things we need to do better, for the women in our lives. So, again, thank you, Bruce, for representing.
Shout out to Bruce.
Hey, before we get started, y'all, on this topic, we always like to answer a question. And before we answer this question, let me just go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. Yes, we are both licensed therapists, but this right here ain't therapy. This is infotainment, edutainment, whatever you want to call it. It's us giving y'all. No, I mean, because again, it's us doing our thing. If you're looking for some therapeutic advice, you can feel free to reach out to us for counseling.
This is therapy.
Nah, we're not. It's
not therapy.
It's not therapy.
It's not therapy, but it is. It's advice from a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
All right, so let me say this. So again, we're gonna start this off by answering a question. And so every week, y'all, if y'all have any questions, please send them over to us, and we'll make sure we answer the questions or a question in the beginning of our live stream. So this particular question right here, and it came from a brother. I'm gonna summarize it. And basically, he asked the question. He said that he's been in a relationship with his wife for some time now, and he's kind of frustrated because, again, we keep on getting questions about sex, y'all. So he said he's feeling kind of frustrated. I'm not picking these questions.
Yes, you are.
The brothers are writing them in and they're asking these questions.
We get so many questions.
Yeah.
You're picking the sex ones on purpose. It's okay. It's all right. But let's just go ahead and be real. Okay.
So what he asked was, he said, in all of my relationships, I really haven't had a problem when it comes to pleasuring my woman through vaginal penetration. More specifically, helping her to have an orgasm through vaginal penetration. But for my current lady, in my current relationship, and I believe he said this is his wife, she's not necessarily feeling that. She doesn't orgasm through vaginal penetration. The way she orgasms is through oral sex.
Clitoral stimulation.
Yeah, clitoral stimulation, oral sex. And so he said, I don't know if other men experience this. I'm not used to this. I don't know if other men necessarily experience this. I'm not feeling the way this thing is going. I feel like I'm less than because I can't get her off through vaginal penetration. And so, for the brother who reached out and asked that particular question, it's not hard to find. But if you just simply go to the Google.com, the great Google.com, you'll be able to find information around how many women actually orgasm through vaginal penetration. And it seems like 80% of women don't orgasm through vaginal penetration.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling some sort of way about the fact that, your woman ain't coming that way, then, you need to keep in mind that most women don't.
That's right.
Most women don't.
That's
so
right.
If you're able to help her reach orgasm, now some women don't even orgasm at all. And so if you're having challenges in your relationship and she's not able to orgasm, that's one thing. But if you're able to help her achieve that heightened state of ecstasy through clitoral stimulation, through oral sex, then you're at least handling your business. So don't beat yourself up over the head, bro. Relax and understand that as long as you're satisfying her, this is an ego thing, right? You think that it has to be one way. You think that there's maybe some commentary on your size. I mean, he actually said that he's not big, he's not small. He's like right there in the middle, but he's kind of self-conscious about, whether or not, it's him. That's the reason why she's not getting off.
So for anybody who's watching and this resonates with you on some level, let's just free you right now. We all have preconceived notions about what sex should be and what it shouldn't be, how our partner should respond to us and what they shouldn't do, what we're responsible for. And what I tell people all the time is that you are responsible for the energy that you bring, whether you bring it into a conversation, whether you bring it into the bedroom, right? It doesn't matter. You're responsible for the energy that you bring, the technique that you bring, the intention that you bring to the bedroom, but so is the other person. It's a joint process, so this whole, I don't know, I hear this a lot. We get this a lot in sessions with people that men have this huge, weight that they're carrying that they've got to show up and perform and get this done and make sure that the woman is pleased. And even women oftentimes come like, I want him to be okay. I don't want him to be looking anywhere else. And what do I need to do? Look, it's your job to make sure that you are taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You might think that that is counterintuitive, but let me tell you something. You can't take care of him if you ain't taking care of you. You cannot give to somebody what you do not give to yourself. So if you are focused on pleasing someone else, then you get lost in the sauce. You get lost in the process. You don't even know how you feel. And when you can start to loosen up and be present in your own body, then you are more able to connect in with your partner's body. And so I would just want to kind of, challenge people this evening to not think about the orgasm as this thing that I am responsible for making sure that my partner achieves. You all are partnering on an exploration, and y'all are going places. And you know what? Climaxing is fabulous. Don't I know it? Yeah. All right. But let me tell you this. There are a lot of layers. There are a lot of intricacies that go into the sexual experience. So yeah, take that weight off of yourself. I mean, and I understand. We just never had that issue where you were like, it's gonna happen for you just because of clitoral stimulation. I mean, you wouldn't say it like that, clitoral stimulation, right? But there was not a hang up for you, I don't think, in the sense that, okay, this is the pathway for you. Or was there? That when we have intercourse, a lot of times couples come to us and say, well, when we're having intercourse, it's not always happening, right? And I've got to do it this way. And people think that there's a problem with that. And there's not a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, be thankful and be grateful that you can have an orgasm, period. However you need to achieve it, right? But partner with your partner and not, don't hold yourself to some unrealistic expectations. All right, y'all, can I move on?
Yeah.
We are, again, if you're just joining us, talking about resolving conflict tonight. We're talking about keeping it 100 and moving through the places in your relationship that are sticky, that cause you some strife in some way. If you are watching this and you know that this is helpful because you already know that you've got some issues in this area, I want you to share the video. I want you to share the video and let other people know, what it is that you're focusing on so that other people can benefit as well. So 6 strategies to resolve conflict in your relationship. Again, as I always say, take some notes and just focus on one thing this evening. Don't try to take it all in. Focus on one thing. Yeah. Because if you focus on that one thing, then you will do some things differently more than likely, and you will get some different results. If you're just looking at this as an academic exercise, this is real cool. I like to watch Jim and they be saying some stuff that's real cool. You know what I'm saying? Stop wasting your time. Like, do something. Do something with what you're getting. And I just want to shout out Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie Maxwell, for sharing this video. And Tawanza, I see you. I'm so happy that she says, y'all have helped me through so many things. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the first strategy, okay? Again, we're talking about conflict management. First of all, before we even do that, can y'all tell me, what are the areas that you find that you're having the most conflict in? Whether it's in your current relationship, past relationships, drop a comment for me, please. Where are you having most of the conflict? Is it just around, just there? Sometimes people come to us and they say everything. It ain't even no particular topic. It ain't no particular issue. It's just she got an attitude problem. She just got negative energy, right? Sometimes we hear, I want you to drop these comments while I'm talking. Where's the conflict? Sometimes we hear, I know a few weeks ago, a brother said, she's very critical. She's very judgmental. So it doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, that's just her general way of doing. Tamika, thank you for sharing, my sister. So I want to know, is that the case for you where you feel like y'all are bumping heads all the time? Or is it around particular issues? Is it around parenting? Is it around how much time y'all spend together? Is it around like, who is that girl? Who is that texting you?
She said he holds things in.
Oh, holding things in and not communicating. I see that, and I see also
finances and discipline.
Finances. Usually you got a spender and a saver. Somebody said, we got something in the refrigerator to eat. Somebody like, but I want some Popeyes though. Right? I mean, that's oftentimes an issue. Shannon talks about wanting him to communicate more, wanting her partner to communicate more. So conflict happens in so many ways. And the first thing that I need you to know, lean in. Yeah. Resolving conflict. Okay, and I'm seeing it again from my sister Letice. Communication, finances, intimacy. Tiffany, thank you for sharing. She said that her partner says that she's too busy. Well, that's probably true. That's probably true. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, well, what am I supposed to do? I got to do this and that, but you have to pay attention to what your partner tells you. Because usually being too busy is not the issue. I'm a busy woman. Trust me.
Sure.
I'm a busy woman. But one thing that I'm clear about is that in the midst of all my busyness, this man is a priority. My family is a priority. And it is a struggle at times. I was just talking to you about this earlier. Like, I feel like we hadn't connected in, right? Yeah. But that thing comes to me, I'm like, whoa. We got to figure out how do we get some time. We're coming up on the weekend. How are we going to get some time? You best believe we're going to get it.
Yeah, that's really true. You know, we do find ourselves in a space where life can be hectic, y'all. But again, it's no excuse. Life can be hectic, but it's no excuse. The space that you find your relationship in is really a result of what you have done or what you have not done. So if you want to blame somebody or something, take a look in the mirror and look at your damn self. Because again, if you want your relationship to shift, if you want it to change, then you got to assume responsibility for making a move in your relationship and not just look towards your partner. Again, you're a grown adult. And so I understand that you might have expectations, you have needs, you have desires, and you're the one that's responsible for getting the relationship and creating the relationship that you want. You can't do it alone, but you at least got to do your part. So are you doing your part? That's really the question. Are you doing your part? If it's finances, if it's spending time, if it's communication, if it's children, are you doing your part? Are you doing it?
So here's the thing, y'all. Here's number one. Resolving conflict requires knowing, accepting, and adjusting to your differences daily. Knowing, accepting, and adjusting to your differences. And then I added what? Daily. Because we can know these things in theory. We kind of know, like, yeah, we're different and opposites attract, but we have to remind ourselves about this so that we can encourage ourselves to, wait a minute, why are you looking for something from your partner? I have to do this for myself. Why am I looking for something from him that he does not, that's just not his flow. That's not what he does, right? So it is no surprise that task-oriented people, for example, might be attracted to people-oriented people. There's no surprise that somebody who like moves through life and through issues and through things with like breakneck speed, just like handling this, moving, attracts somebody who takes their time and methodically and thoughtfully flows, right? And those things initially are things that are attractive to you because it brings in an experience, a perspective that you have not had. You moving and shaking, this person comes in real smooth. Yeah. Right. So it initially is an attraction, but as time goes on and you all start to settle into one another, I'm sure somebody knows about this. It can become a repellent. It starts to irritate you. It starts to aggravate you. And what you have to remember is that many of the conflicts that you have, like, can we move to the next phase of this conversation? How many times have you done been there? Yeah. Can we make a decision already? Why do we keep having to keep talking about this? And then somebody telling you, can you slow down for a second? Right? Like these kinds of issues come out of your unique personality. So what you have to do is remind yourself. Sometimes I just have to sit back and say, you know what? He's different than me. So let me parlay for a second because I probably could use some parlaying. And I'm hoping that at some point, somewhere along the way, you're like, maybe I have massaged this thing enough and we need to get to a place of decision. And then you try to speed it up to meet me. Yeah. But what I really want people to understand is that you have to remind yourself to accept your partner and to adjust. It really is challenging, Fine 29, honey. It is challenging to do this. It's easier to say than it is to do. But the more you do that and the more you reinforce that we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to bring differences, right? And I'm supposed to be experiencing this stress. And when I tell myself that, let me tell y'all, because I can get irritable pretty easily. But I tell myself, and this is what you're supposed to be experiencing, because this is where you need to stretch. Then I might still have a frown on my face, but I know how to move and I know how to flow and I know what to say to my husband and what not to say to him, because I know that this is helping me ultimately. That's the perspective I had. And usually what is prompting me to do is to shut the hell up. And when I shut up and I just lay back and parlay for a second, this man meets me in places he never met me before, because I was, come on. So again, accept, acknowledge, and adjust to your differences.
Let me speak on that whole acceptance piece. You know, I think that is of paramount importance that you realize when you're in a relationship, you know, we oftentimes like to look at the other person. And so when we speak about the whole acceptance piece, to some degree, we're externalizing what's going on in our internal world. So what does that mean? So when we make it a situation where we're challenged to accept our partner becomes the problem. Our partner becomes the problem.
Right.
But what if you change your paradigm, change your orientation to one where you move from accepting your partner for who she or he is, and you shift that to then accepting the fact that you actually chose your partner.
Now you got some limitations.
You accept your choice. You accept the decision that you made to be in relationship with your partner. And so again, it's no longer about your partner, but it's about the fact that you accept the decision that you made to be in a relationship that you're in. Now that puts the responsibility back on you. So versus you externalizing that thing, again, you're internalizing and you're focusing on you versus focusing on your partner. Accept the fact that you made the decision to be in relationship with your partner, and you can make some changes from that perspective.
So I love what KJ said. KJ said strong personalities can be intimidating. Okay. Strong personalities can be intimidating. That's what KJ said. And so what I would say to you is that if that's the experience you have perhaps with your partner, then that is an invitation for you. That's an invitation for you because perhaps strong personalities are intimidating for you. But then that is a challenge for you. And that is the challenge that your partner, a part of the challenge that your partner is supposed to be bringing you so that you can rise up and meet the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, because anybody here have a partner with a real strong personality, right? Or a partner who is just like real quiet, they don't really say a lot, and you gotta like try to do sign language and figure out what they thinking. You're like, hello, are you there? Right. But that person and how you receive them or perceive them is really just about you. You're being challenged in that way. There's nothing odd about them. There's nothing super intimidating about them necessarily. It's just how you perceive them. And so when you take that and you say, what is it that I know about myself in terms of when I deal with people like this? You know what I'm saying? So what do I need to do differently? What is it that I could be doing differently? And if I'm going to do it differently, might I want to do that with my husband? Might I want to take a risk with my wife? You know what I'm saying? Like if, you know, people in the workplace like that, I don't really want to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm gonna deal with them, let me deal with the person I say I love. So again, this is that piece around, you know, how is it that you accept the differences and then you rise to the occasion to do what it is you're supposed to do so that you can meet the challenge that, again, that person and their personality is not a challenge. It's a challenge for you. And they come to teach you some things and you come to teach them some things too.
I mean, that's the truth right there, y'all. Make sure that you're taking notes. And again, please share this video if you already haven't shared. There's a lot more people out here who could benefit from the information that we're giving.
Absolutely.
All right, strategy number 2, y'all. Strategy number 2. Resolving conflict. It requires defeating, kicking in the butt, killing,
a good one,
obliterating selfishness, y'all.
Selfishness.
It requires defeating selfishness. Now, this is a challenging one. I'm not sure what your birth order is. That play a factor in you being selfish. I'm not sure what your upbringing is. It could play a factor in you being selfish. Selfishness is an extremely difficult thing to shake. What
do you think plays a part in some of your selfishness that you've experienced? Have you connected the dots?
I like how you went ahead and like shifted that thing back on me.
I just want to know, like, have you connected the dots a little bit?
So I lifted up birth order. I think that plays a part.
But how so? I mean, how so for you? Because you're the old. We're both the oldest.
So I mean, if I'm the oldest, I'm the one that's.
I have an older sister, but we didn't grow up in the same
I'm the one
household.
that experiences things first. I'm the one that's focused on the most. I'm the one that gets the attention, gets the time. I'm the one who's supposed to be looking after the younger ones. I'm the star. Yeah. So as a result, I want to always be the star. And so as a result, you know, in a relationship, sometimes we can bump heads and it can be conflict because you also are a star.
She better believe it.
You know, and not only are you a star, but you're a Leo too. And so I got those two things to compete with. So we bump heads sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to know if you had any insight there.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to mess up your point. Yeah. So but again, selfishness is a blip.
Yeah, it really is, y'all. You got to make sure that you nip that thing in the bud because it impacts your relationship in so many ways. A lot of times you internalize certain things that really ain't got nothing to do with you. You make things about you that really aren't really on that level. They're really not that serious. And it's really, you're making things about you because you're selfish. You think the world revolves around you. You think that the space that you're in should be preoccupied with you. And so whenever you walk and operate from that space, again, you can contaminate the environment, the atmosphere that you exist in. And as a result, you know, it damages the relationship, not just with your partner, but with your children as well. So again, make sure that you are being intentional about nipping that selfishness in the bud, because if you don't, it will contaminate, it will infiltrate and impact your relationship in a negative way.
So let me tell you something. Marriage does a tremendous work, a tremendous thing in remedying this issue of selfishness. Because when you are married and when you are in a committed relationship, there is a framework that is before you that is off the cuff, challenging you to look at your family, to look beyond yourself, to look beyond what you want, what you think is all right, what you think is okay. And it's challenging you to look at your partner and your family and to look into the future. We talk all the time about the benefits of marriage. And I'm talking specifically about marriage because it's cool to be in a committed relationship, but it ain't marriage. Bow, 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 bow. And y'all might have some issues with that. I want you to go ahead and drop the comment. But let me just say something. You can be in a committed relationship all day long. Been together 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When the hell you gonna get married? Get married. Oh, I got a little jingle going. But seriously, there's a difference.
Yeah,
there is a difference. And marriage can really, really just kind of break up that selfishness, because there is an order to things. When you are the woman of the house, when you are the wife, when you are the queen, when you are the husband, the head of the house, right? We're partners in being the head of the house, right? We both have our own territories. When you have that type of responsibility, you're building more than just like, what we gonna do tonight? We're building a legacy, right? And so I've got to be able to get outside of my own agenda and understand that my agenda has to serve the agenda of my family. It has to assert, there is no agenda that I have as the queen of this household that does not serve the agenda of my family. It does not mean that I don't get to speak life to my dreams, that I don't get to manifest my purpose. But what it does mean is that everything that I'm doing is connected to this man and the family that I have. So I want y'all to understand that you might think you ain't selfish, but let me just tell you something. I always say I'm petty. I'm a petty sister, you know what I'm saying? I'm not petty with people, but you know how you have kids and they go out in the community and they're just great and they're wonderful. You know, not everybody's kids is like that, right? Everybody got different stuff. But for those of y'all who know what I'm talking about, they're respectful. They say, hello, Mrs. So-and-so, whatever. They come home, you're like, well, I gotta talk to you 5-6 times to get you to do so-and-so. Why are you doing all this, cutting up in the house? But I know you wouldn't say that to your grandmother. Or I know you in class, you don't do all that. But when you come here, you act a little special, right? Y'all understand what I'm talking about? If you understand, can you say you understand? Can you talk to me, please? So the same thing goes for how I can be in my own family. You know what I'm saying? Like in my own family, I can be a little extra special. I can be a little spoiled, and I can act a little, special in my own family, right? Yeah. But fundamentally, I know that there's a limit. I know there's a threshold, because my goal and my aim is always to lift my family up in every single thing that I do. There's nothing that I'm doing and I'm just focused on self. I might be focused on my gift and focused on what God is saying to me and trying to manifest that and, come up against fear and all that. So I'm in my little lane. But let me tell you something. It impacts my family. And there's nothing that I'm doing where I'm just disconnected. So selfishness is a natural, selfishness is naturally conquered by committed relationships, specifically marriage. And so we got to pay attention to that thing. You really want to go somewhere, defeat that monster of selfishness. That's how it helps you to resolve conflict, because you understand that I cannot get my way all the time. It is not my way or the highway. I've got to be able to give something, and then you make yourself do it. You don't just say it. What do you do? Back it up. Let it go. I'm all right. You got that one. Why? Not because I agree, not because I think it's right, but because I am married, because I'm in a committed relationship, and it's not about me all the time. It's about this union. It's about this legacy that we're building. And I've got to be able to give to you. I'm about to preach. Hold on. Just give me a second. I got to be able to give to you. And I've got to demonstrate to you that I honor you, that I care about you, that I love you. So it's not just about, does it make sense, y'all? It's about how much have I given? How many times do I just give it to you? Not because I even think it's going to be all that great for our family. Just because I am supposed to do that because I'm in partnership with you, because it demonstrates to you that I respect you and that I am not just trying to do my own thing. It's like, so somebody might say, so just cause? Just cause that's what's required in a relationship. I am trying to figure out ways to validate my husband's point of view, to make him understand that I value his perspective, even when I don't. Whoa. Can't just be real. Sometimes I'm like, that's some foolishness that don't make no sense. I do not get down with it. I think it's stupid. But I'm still trying to figure out, how is it that he knows that even in the midst of that, I understand my role and my position to be a partner to him and to lift him up and to know that it's not just about me. So let's get off of that one. But I hope y'all got something from that. Some selfish people out here, and we need to conquer selfishness.
Yeah, so when you consume the space, when you make the space all about you, an important piece that I think that you should pay attention to is the fact that,
I'll get something. I'll be right back.
Is the fact that you're not allowing room for your partner to influence you. And so we've said on a number of live streams before, it's important that you accept the influence of your partner. When you're selfish, again, you might want everybody to think about you, but really, are you making room for everybody else? I mean, that's really the question. And when you don't make room for everybody else, it becomes problematic, because in that space, again, there's no offering of new ideas, no sharing of other experiences. There's no other value you're getting from the other person's point of view. When it's only about you, there's a limited perspective that you're living from. So you want to make sure that, again, you're opening up the way so that you can actually benefit from your partner's perspective, their viewpoint, their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings, and that type of thing. When you don't, it's a limited existence that you're living, y'all. The selfish person is a person who, again, is confined to themselves. They're focused and preoccupied with them. That's not the way you want to be in your relationship. It's bigger than you. The vision is not just your vision. It's y'all's vision. And when you find yourself in a space where you're just focused on your vision, y'all haven't created that vision together, then you find yourself in a space where you find your partner becomes dissatisfied. Your partner may possibly begin to resent you because they haven't contributed to the process. Again, it's not about you exclusively. It's about the both of you all together. And so speaking about this whole selfishness piece, if we want to move and transcend that point, I think that it's important that, again, you include your partner, especially as it pertains to identifying what the vision should be. My question for you is, have you all identified a vision for your family? Can y'all out there share one thing that you've identified that's a part of the vision for your family? Just one thing. One thing that you've identified that's a part of the vision for your family. And this right here, again, will show that you're moving beyond just focusing on you and then focusing on what you all are doing as a collective. Name one thing. I want to see some people drop some things in the comments. What's one thing that you all have identified that you're going to focus on as a family?
One thing.
And we're going to wait until we start to see some responses.
We're going to wait.
I'm going to have a drink while y'all drop some responses. What's one thing? One thing that you've identified that you're going to focus on in the family. It could be financial freedom. It could be, spending more quality time as a family. It could be any number of things. But again, what's one thing that you all have made the decision that you're going to focus on as a family? I see quality time as one thing.
Some people might not. You might not have really had this conversation. You might be like, "This sounds good," but we ain't really talked about this.
Okay, and Vistoso Ambition over here, she says that, or he says that. I think it's a she. I can't say we have. We argue so much we can't get to the next point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So maybe you haven't. Maybe you haven't. And again, if you haven't, make sure that you take time to sit down with your partner, sit down with your children, identify what the family vision is. What's the family mission statement? I see Shay, she said family time.
We're getting ready to do ours.
So we've done things in a disorganized and non-concrete way, but we want to make sure that we concretize. Yeah, I'm talking about us. So I want to make sure that we concretize it and we actually list it out. We're going to create a poster board and everything so that our family knows what the family vision.
We're not doing a poster board. Well, we're going to
frame it and all.
We want to frame it and put our mission up and our family values.
I see working on credit, financial freedom.
We haven't put it up in the house and like stuff.
Getting rid of debt. Okay, I'm seeing something being dropped.
Yes, getting rid of debt.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
So Latia said this is a subject for discussion soon.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So we on number 3 now. Number 3. Resolving conflict, y'all. Another strategy is that you want to make sure you pursue your partner.
Yeah.
Pursue your partner.
People don't want to do that.
They don't.
They just want to be pursued.
Pursuit occurs in so many ways.
You're so good at it.
I am.
You are. You've taught me over time because I'm petty and I'm special and I still don't like doing it. But I've gotten better.
Why not? Why don't you like doing it?
I don't like being vulnerable like that, I guess. But you know what? So one part of it is not wanting to be vulnerable because if you got to pursue, you know what I'm saying? You got to try like, hey, boo, come here, whatever. And they're not feeling you. You know, you put yourself out there. You're not feeling me. I'm putting myself out there. So that's one part of it. But I have to say that that's actually probably not the biggest part of it because I know like if I just keep at it, you coming. You know what I'm saying? I got you wrapped around my pinky.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just like you got me wrapped around yours. So I know. But I'm just, well, I just don't want to. I just got a big ego like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to keep coming. I don't want to have to keep finding different ways to say stuff and you keep turning your back and not giving me no energy. You know, and then my feelings get hurt, you know. So I think that it challenges me because I just ain't got a lot of patience like that for all that. I know it's so wrong. When I say he's so good at it, that's his energy. That's his thing. Like it ain't no skin off his back. You know what I'm saying? Like we done had some type of conflict or whatever. And that's whether it's with me or if it's with a friend or his family or whatever, that's his character. Like, what's going on? Come holler at me. What's happening? You know, and I'm kind of like, well, when you get it together, you know what I'm saying, holler at me. You know what I'm saying? So he's been a really good model for me in that way. So you have, but we have to pursue. I have learned how to pursue, but I just want to say this, despite feeling effed up about
That's important.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
really
I don't feel like, oh, this feels so good. No, I'm still irritated and mad and pissed off for a host of reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Stuff that ain't got nothing to do with how you say, right? But you have to be willing to pursue. Just because you ain't feeling it,
it don't mean that you don't need to do it.
Everybody wants to be pursued.
You know, everybody does want to be pursued. And again, I mentioned a moment ago that, I mean, you can pursue in so many ways. I mean, oftentimes people are on you know, the phone. So, I mean, text messages, you can be pursuing your partner. When you call your partner during the day, how do you greet your partner? You know, how do you say hello to your partner? What words of affection do you use when it comes to communicating with your partner? I mean, those are all acts of pursuit. And so they may seem minuscule. They may seem non-consequential or insignificant, but the reality is that they all add up.
So when you
all build up, you know, when
me,
it comes
say,
to,
hey, love.
Yeah, stuff like that. You know, hey, queen, how you doing, baby? And, you know, just words of affection and stuff like that. Yeah. What it does is, again, it's reinforcing, you know, the love that we have in our relationship. It's reassuring my wife and letting her know that she's the only one that's got my eye. She's the queen of this castle. She's my heart. She's my everything. And so she holds me down. And so I got to make sure that at least with my language, that I'm lifting her up and edifying her and holding her up to the throne because she's sitting where she rightfully belongs. And that's on the throne. And it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm honoring and respecting that.
Woo, 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 woo.
How you gonna take my mic?
Yeah, I had to get the mic on that one. Yeah.
You know you got a mic right there.
I know, but I want to yours. Yeah. Yeah, you just shout me out right there.
Yeah. So I mean, that's real right there, y'all. So again, you want to make sure that you're pursuing your partner. So we mentioned.
Look what Shawana said. I know. She says, I always say hello, handsome.
And that's what's up. I trust and believe. Trust and believe your man excites when you say that. He's on cloud nine.
The mic is low. What that mean? Said the mic is low. Can y'all hear us okay? Somebody said the mic is low. All right, T, I heard you. Let us know if it's better. Hello, handsome. What are some other greetings that you all give? Do you all give greetings or other words? These are really words of family said. She said, I say, hi, my king. Hi, my king. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's good. That's good. Hi, my king. So, and I want to say this. A while back, a sister was saying to me. Over here. My sister said to me, like, I know how you talked about this person.
I like that. I leave messages in his puzzle book in the bathroom. That's what's up. That's creative right there.
Who said that? Darlene.
That's creative right there. I mean, you can actually do a whole little foreplay situation with like leaving messages, not just in the bathroom, but around the house.
You wouldn't take it to foreplay.
No, I'm serious. I mean, that's pretty. I'm gonna have to steal that one, Darlene. I really am.
If I'm on the toilet, you're going to get some foreplay going?
I'm trying to set it up, yes. I'm setting it up. I'm setting that thing up. Thank you, Darlene, for that one right there. So again, you want to pursue your partner. So the text messages, through phone calls, through physical touch, something as simple as like when y'all are watching TV. Are y'all on separate ends of the couch? Are y'all on different couches? Do you take the time to actually lean over and put your head on his chest? What do you do? Like, all of this is a part of the act of pursuing your partner. What are you doing? If y'all are in two separate parts of the room, when you're in the kitchen cooking, does he come in and sit down next to you? Does he come in and spend time with you when you're doing, when you're cooking, when you're spending time with the children? Does she do that? What are y'all doing? These are all acts of pursuit. Does he take your coat off? Does he help you, clean the house? I mean, what do y'all do in your household to help you or to show that you're actually pursuing your partner? What do you do? Do you greet each other with a kiss?
Somebody said, Ladybug speaker said, she said, I said, get over here with your sexy ass. I just had to read it like you put it. Get over here with your sexy ass. That's what she said. Whatever works, okay? Okay, Brooklyn Queen. She said, we need a new couch. Ours is too small for two people to sit on.
Why don't you sit on his lap?
Bum, 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 bum.
You can sit on his lap.
Sit on his lap.
Yeah.
Sit on his lap.
I'm sure he will.
I see that Wandra said he leaves for work so early in the morning, put notes on the door as he leaves out. He has to see it because it's right when he turns the knob. Yeah, that's good. So for you all who are listening, listen to the comments and go back and read some of the comments that people are making. Y'all are giving some good stuff. This is how you pursue. Yes. And so what is the topic tonight? We're talking about resolving conflict. You resolve it before it gets started or even in the midst of it because you still do these things.
Even when you ain't feeling liking it, y'all.
That's right. Feeling what?
You can feel all jacked up and not liking it. Feeling liking it.
Feeling liking it.
Blame it on that.
Baba.
Even when you ain't feeling like it.
Yes.
Just make sure that you're pursuing your partner because again, your relationship and your partner deserves it. You deserve it too. What's interesting is that even when you're not feeling like it, you do get like a boost when your partner positively responds to your pursuit.
Yeah. Getting tired. I'm getting tired. Down, 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 down. So was that just number 3?
That was number 3.
Okay, we're gonna move along because
please share this video,
everybody.
Y'all.
We're gonna move along. We had 6 total. We got 6 total. We got 3 more. Let's move this along.
Please share this
all right. Resolving conflict requires loving confrontation. Loving confrontation. Stop laughing at me. Loving confrontation. So this is something that I had to work on in my own marriage early on because, I was one of those people who said, you're not going to be confused about what I think, what I feel, I'm going to confront you on the issue. I'm going to call you out. Right. And what I found over time is that did not help me, did not help the relationship. It did not help the issue. It did not move things along. I might have gotten a little bit of release in the moment. I got my frustration out. But what I realized is that I needed to increase my tolerance for frustration. People who say, You know, I have to let people know what it is, and I'm just gonna break it down. I'm gonna let you know. You ain't gonna be confused, whatever, because I tell you what I think. Usually, not all the time, but usually they have a low tolerance for frustration. And somebody might be like, yeah, I do. You need to work on that. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. What that means is that you need to understand that your partner comes to you to help grow you and to stretch you and to teach you how to tame your tongue, how to self-regulate your emotions. When you have things come up within you, how do you check them before they come up out your mouth, right? And how do you get in touch with what's going on for you so that you don't then deposit something into the atmosphere or into the relationship that you now can't take back. So learning how to confront lovingly, that's the word, is the key. And that means that you can't be pressed to make your point. Yeah. You can't try to figure out how to, get them, right? Because especially when you know you're right. When you know you're right, but like sometimes I know I'm right, and I'm
ain't never right.
What? Get out of here. When I know I'm right, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in my little moments, and I'm like, I know I'm getting right. Get them. You know what I'm saying?
What's this whole get 'em?
Just, you know what I'm saying? I get to a flow with like, hey, what you need to understand is, and this is what I do. It's my ego. And then what do? I'll call him Mr. Marriage Educator. Then what I say to you?
You do hit me with that.
I hit him with that. Like, you're supposed to be a marriage educator, and this is the foolishness you're bringing me, Mr. Marriage Educator. Let me tell you, if I say that, and I go, marriage educator, I'm about to get him. You know what I'm saying?
About to get him.
I get you.
Nah.
Yes, boo. Okay. Bottom line is
always more than one perspective.
This is the demonstration of the point that we're making. I said I'm getting them because I'm feeling it, right? But what did he just say? You ain't getting me. I really am. But if he don't get it, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going over his head. I'm like, that was good. He like, whatever. So the point is that it doesn't matter. It's not advancing the relationship. Yeah. It's not advancing the agenda that you're trying to really, move forward. So you have to do it in a loving way. And that means that, what does loving mean? Let's just break that down real quick. It means in a way that your partner can receive. If they do not do well with taking constructive criticism, then write it down. If they say that you kind of, you're kind of overzealous and you sound harsh, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm having some type of feeling like I'm a woman, and so when I talk now it's harsh. What I'm supposed to sound like, yeah.
So we can be even more specific.
Scrap it and make and pay attention to your tone.
Not just your tone.
Because of what your partner is saying works for them and doesn't work for them. So loving confrontation, yes, you have to bring things up. I know you want to say something. You have to bring things up. You have to put them out there. It is your responsibility. Whoever has the most insight has to use it. But you have to do it in a loving way. Otherwise, you are just ventilating. You are just venting. You are just getting your stuff out, and your partner is not receiving it. So you might as well stop before you get started.
So on that point, y'all, I'm gonna be very specific here, especially because it seems like men are oftentimes receiving the brunt end of this stick. And when it comes to this particular issue, one thing, ladies, that y'all want to make sure that you're extremely cognizant of that you're not doing is using certain inflammatory language. Calling him a ban. A B-A-N. Who knows what a ban is? I'm not gonna even say what it is.
Please drop a comment.
Who knows what a ban is?
What's a ban?
What's a B-A-N?
What is a ban?
I want to see if anybody knows what a ban is.
Does anybody know what that is?
I'm gonna wait for a second just to see
B-A-N.
if you know what a ban is.
What does that stand for? What does that stand for? It's an acronym.
It's an acronym. Who knows what a ban is?
Wait a minute, is ban a real thing? Is that just something me and you be saying? Huh? Oh.
Okay, so we got an answer.
Well, we got it. She said, Butch blank.
Yes. Okay. So y'all know what a ban is.
Look at your comments.
Yeah. So that's one thing. And so some of y'all who are on this stream right here, now,
I know y'all be going.
might be saying that. That's unacceptable, y'all. That's not acceptable, especially if you're supposed to be edifying your relationship, especially if you're supposed to be honoring your king, lifting up your man. That's not building him up. That's tearing him down. Why would he want to be with you when you're calling him a ban? Why? Why?
A ban. You call him a ban.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's unacceptable right now. So
somebody said a banana ass nigga.
So that's one thing. That's one thing. Another thing, yo,
Bama,
is that, you know, when it comes to the words that you use that are inflammatory and that might possibly incite some additional verbal confrontation, hopefully not physical, but some additional verbal confrontation.
Hey, Jack,
can you stop reaching all the way across me right now? I'm feeling like a band right now, letting you reach all over me.
Okay, sorry.
So another thing, y'all, is comparing them to other men. That it's not a good look. You don't want to compare him to other men. Again, you know, he's a man in his own right, and so, you know, the whole thing about comparing him, the whole thing about manning up, again, to tell a man to man up is to suggest that he's acting like a boy, or it's to suggest that he is a boy. And again, as a grown man, that's unacceptable. You don't want to hear that. Now, some of y'all might say, well, he's acting like a boy. He need to be called a boy. No, he's your man. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the spotlight back on you. You chose him for a reason. You chose him. So if you chose to be in a relationship with a boy, blame yourself. Don't blame him. Blame you. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming that you chose a man. So respect the fact that you're in a relationship with a man and respect him as a man. In addition to that, y'all, when it comes to your body language.
You're breaking it down, ain't you?
No, because this is important. I mean, this whole conflict piece and resolving that thing, you know, lovingly, you want to make sure that you're being mindful of your body language. Don't be in his or her face. Don't be clapping your hands and what do y'all be doing? Like,
hold up.
Don't be doing all of that.
What are
like
you
all up in
about?
his or her face. Don't be doing that. I don't know what y'all. You know what y'all be doing.
Don't use stereotypes.
Yeah. So don't do that. Don't do that. Again, that's inciting. You don't, but I've seen this. I've seen it, and women do this. And some of y'all that's probably on this live stream right now, they do that. Don't do that. That's unacceptable. Again, that's triggering in a relationship.
That's me.
Don't do that. So be mindful of the language that you use. Be mindful of your tone. Be mindful of your body language. All right. So number 5.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Somebody said you never emasculate your man. I'm with you. That's right. Now this is interesting. What's the word for? So why do we have a word? And this is probably just I'm probably ignorant. So y'all school me. We have a word for emasculating a man. We have a word for taking away a man's manhood and bringing him down. What's the equivalent for a woman? And why is there not that word? Patriarchy. What is that? Down. Do y'all know? If you know, drop a comment because I want to know. Why we don't say nothing about that about women? Because I know men, you know, will criticize a woman about her womanliness, whatever that means, you know, how she takes care of the house or how she, and first of all, second of all, and third of all, being a woman does not equate to taking care of a house. Okay, let's be clear. All right. Okay, somebody said defeminize. Okay, you know, but we don't even have that term. At least I'm not, you know, familiar, you know, with how men
emotionally abused womanize.
You know, can take away a woman's sense of being and our own womanliness, right? We don't even really have that. And so we oftentimes throw out the fact that we live in a world that is designed by, set by, particularly in this country, but not just this country, by a patriarchal system in society. And so I just think that's interesting. You're emasculating, you're taking away but what about the goddamn woman? And when you're taking away, and that stuff happens a whole lot, but we ain't got a word for that. Let's move on.
No, I'm curious now.
We can do that on another episode. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But like straight up, like the ways that this thing
so we can talk about this afterwards because I'm curious to know how we take it away.
How y'all what?
How we take women.
How men take?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you are verbally abusing a woman, when you are talking to a woman and criticizing who she is, how she gets down, how she moves with her and flows with her children, how she moves and flows in the world, you know, her value. I mean, any of the same things that happen for a man. You know what I'm saying?
No,
when you
call her
a bitch and this, that, and the other, like all of that is the same thing.
But it's not. But it's like apples and oranges. To effeminize a man is to.
When you say effeminate, I say emasculate.
So to emasculate and to call him a BA, to call him a band, is, you know, essentially saying like he's acting less than a man. So you're basically implying he's acting
so
like
men
a woman.
do that to women.
So you're trying to make them less than. You're trying to make them a woman. That's what you're doing. I mean, when you say a band, you're calling him a woman.
But see, even when you say that, it's almost like saying being a woman is a negative thing. But that's
I know.
Another,
so
less than a man.
So
a man can do that to a woman and make a woman less than a woman by the words that he uses and how he criticizes and judges and demoralizes a woman.
Nah, but we make men women, but we don't make women men.
Why is it making men women? To make a man, so if we're criticizing a man or emasculating a man, why is it making him into a woman? Y'all help us out. Help us out. Why are we making them into a woman? Because that actually means that to be less than as a woman, I'm not less than. Again, that's a patriarchal view, right?
And I respect that.
Right, I'm not less than.
I respect that.
You see, so this thing, man, we got to think about our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
We got to think about our thoughts. Bruce says degrading and invalidating. I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing, but this thing is deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we take away from each other. Yes, you never emasculate your man, but you also hold your queen, your woman in her rightful place, and you do not. I didn't know what the word was. Somebody said defeminize. Let's go with that tonight. You do not defeminize your woman. You do not take away her right. And I have had these conversations with my husband where sometimes he's kind of getting in my lane. And I'm like, are you a woman? Was you ever a woman? Have you been in this? Have you been back up? Because you're not a woman. And the same way that I respect a man, this man specifically, and men in general, to do what men do, respect me. This is my territory. And we don't have those kind of conversations. You know what I'm saying? We don't have those conversations. And certainly we don't even have a word. There's probably a word out there. I just don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. But thank you. Who was that? Rosemary for the word defeminize for tonight. Okay, let's move on. So the next one, resolving conflict requires what, baby?
It requires forgiveness, y'all. Mm-hmm. It requires forgiveness. I mean, how many of y'all out here like to hold a grudge? Yeah, you do. You really do.
I told y'all I'm petty.
I mean, I apologized to you last week on a live stream. And then 4 days later,
I'm still mad.
4 days later, you hit me with, you still ain't know. You think that apology last week that you did on the live stream was really an apology?
I'm like, you performing. You performing in front of the people. That ain't no daggone apology. You don't get no points for that. I was in my feelings on that joint. She was petty as well.
I don't even remember what we was talking about.
We were talking about. I used to say, you men alert. You don't say, I don't even remember what you're talking about. You don't say that. Okay. But we were talking about when your car got broken into.
Oh, yeah.
And you, and so for those who don't know, his car got broken into.
And all the women were saying, she shouldn't have left her purse on the floor.
So it wasn't my purse. It was a little teeny book bag. It was on the floor on the passenger side.
And so some of the women that said, my husband would have worn me out too. So
what are you going to be on apology lane? Or is you going to still be on get back lane? Which one is it? Pick a side. Pick a side and stick to it. This man, he was like straight up mad at me the entire day into the next day. And was just I broke in his car, I broke his windshield. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, I know. Said no, you didn't. Say no. So,
thank you. I'm sorry, baby.
No. Because what we were talking about last.
Shay said that.
Come on, Shay. Come on now. I said, yes, I made a mistake. Okay, I made a mistake, but I did not set it up. I didn't call somebody I'm gonna leave this on the floor. Come crack my husband's window and break into the car. Okay, so we have to have grace for each other. And last week we were talking about his inability to have grace. I ain't asked for your forgiveness. Number one, number two, number three. I ain't asked for your forgiveness. I did not break into your car. I made a mistake, and I did not ask for forgiveness, nor did I apologize. You was supposed to be apologizing. Y'all can think whatever y'all think, but let me just say this. We have to examine intention. It was not my intention to attract a robber. It was not my intention to get your car broken into. It was not my intention. Okay. I made a mistake and I'm like, oh, Dad, my bad. I made a mistake. However,
it's my bad.
I did not break into your car. That's somebody on these streets who broke into your car. Just be thankful that we have insurance that you could call up and we could get the day. Oh, and we decided not to use it because it was going to be too much money and we could pay for it. Be thankful we had the money to pay for it and keep it moving. You stay stuck on stuff. Talking about saying stuck on something. You were stuck on that thing. What is that? Anyway, let's move on. The next one. This is the last one.
Hold
Number
on.
6.
We got to break down the whole forgiveness piece. Like, it's important to forgive you.
Marcia said, be nice to your friend, girl. Sham said, you left the bag visibly in the car. Apologize to that man. I get on my wife all the time about this. Sham, you are not.
Thank you, Sham.
You are not helping the situation. We talked about this last week, and he was beefing with me the entire day, not talking to me, gritting on me, looking me up and down. You know what I'm saying? The entire day. And I said, wait a minute, this is not okay. You know what I'm saying? I did not orchestrate this thing.
I'm forgiving you, bro.
Well, I didn't ask for your freaking forgiveness. I won't say something else. So anyway, intent. Thank you, Rosemary. Intent is everything. That was the lesson we were teaching last week, is that I made a mistake, but that was not my intention. But when you have a situation in your relationship where you treat your partner as if their intention was somehow to get you, to mess you up, to throw you off, to F you up, you know what I'm saying? When you treat them like that, thank you, Sham. You treat them like you are an accomplice. That's how you was treating me. Like I'm an accomplice. That's a problem. That's a problem. So did you feel like I was an accomplice, mofo?
Mofo. Nah, babe. We'll be honest. I forgave you, bro. And you forgave me.
Say I forgave you one more time. Say it one more time and see what happened, because I didn't ask for your mother forgiveness. Okay. All right. Let's move it on.
Man.
Okay. So number 6.
So hold on. Have we really sat on this for
we sat on this for a long time. I think we demonstrated.
I think it's important though that
Rosemary gave us some claps. She's like, yeah, y'all were good. Let's move on to number 6.
You really gotta forgive, y'all. You know,
you gotta forgive. You gotta forgive. Even when a person doesn't require forgiveness, they don't want your forgiveness, you still should forgive them.
You should pursue your partner. Like my wife said earlier, I do an excellent job of pursuing her. So even though I was upset after that day, and then maybe after the next day, I started to pursue you.
2 days, like I broke in your car. I mean, really. Number 6. This is the last one for the evening. Again, we are examining 6 strategies to resolve conflict in your marriage or your relationship. And so the last one is very, very important. And this is one I could probably work on a little bit, because
you said it several times.
I said what?
That this is something that you can work on. You said that several times to me.
Well, thanks for that notification.
No, I'm just saying I'm taking notes.
Have you said that? Have you said that any times? I'm taking notes here. So anyway, this one here, y'all. Resolving conflict requires returning.
We'll review the points at the end. I'm sorry.
Yes, we will review them at the end. It requires returning a blessing for an insult. Returning a blessing for an insult. I was a bit insulted when, my husband's car got broken into. Okay. And this man treated me as if I was Sham, an accomplice. Okay. For the entire day and into the next day. I mean, he was really in his feelings. I'm thinking to myself, did we not call and, set this thing up? It's all taken care of. What is that about? Like once especially when there is quick resolution, it was in our budget. We can handle it. We can take care of it. And you're still treating me as if somehow I've done something wrong. What I could have done, and I'll be honest and say I did not do, is I could have returned a blessing for an insult, because I was a bit insulted. I think I did have a few words like, look, I didn't break into the car. Then I think I did say that in the parking lot. Like, I see how you're looking at me, and I didn't break into the car. So I know you might think that I did it, but I didn't do it. I made a mistake. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's how I get. I get on my feisty, like, what? Because I'm like, dude, why are you treating me like this? And so what I should have done is return a blessing for an insult.
What that look like?
And so that would have looked like, this man gritting on me. It's too late. We done. Because now you in the apology stage, because you done not talk to me for a day and a half over something that I ain't do. I didn't break into your car. Okay, y'all, I know y'all tired of hearing about this. Anyway, so what I could have done instead is to be like, babe, and I have to say you're better at this, but you're not the best. Better, not the best. Be clear. So I could have came over. I don't want you to don't try. I mean, let's not make it like, yeah, you just do this so great. You don't, but you are better than me if we compare. So I could have said to you, babe, like, I know that you're upset right now, and I know that you are upset with me. I know this is a situation that this was, Easter Sunday, that you were not expecting to come out to the parking lot or whatever and see that your car was like this. And, let me think about this thing, because I'm not about to cop to like I did this shit, because I didn't do it. So let me see how I would say it.
It's not hard, man.
Just be quiet, because I'm supposed to be one. I would have said, babe,
Mm-hmm.
I know they're leaving my bag on the floor. That's the reason the person looked in the car probably, and they did what they did. So, I mean, any feelings that you're having about me and my carelessness, I just want you to know that, I'm just sorry this happened. Mm. Would that work?
That would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
That would have worked back then. I'm saying you should have said this on Sunday.
Oh, I should have said it at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So resolving conflict requires returning a blessing for an insult. And I probably could have turned the tide that day, because when he was giving me that energy, I mean, he was looking at me out the side of his eye. I made my side eye real special. Like, I got one for you too. What? You know what I'm saying? I did.
You did, bro.
I did. So if I would have just given him a blessing back, given him some, sense of connection, and
that's really all I want. That's all I want.
Shame, I'm about to delete you off this live stream. He said, "Are you sorry it happened, or that you contributed to it happening?" Shame, I did not orchestrate. I didn't call somebody like, "Hey."
Yeah, Shame.
Okay. I'm about to kick you off. All right, y'all. So we're going to review all 6 of these strategies to resolve conflict in your relationship. As we said when we started out, focus on one. Try not to take all of them in. And let me see. Try not to take all of them in and, tackle all of them. Think about the thing that stands out to you the most. I would say for me, returning a blessing for an insult is the thing that stands out to me the most, because if I feel insulted, it is difficult for me to kind of bless you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's actually easier for me to do people that I'm not as connected to. I can do that when I'm working with people. People get mad at me because I'm saying the truth. I can work with you. It's all good. I bless you anyway, but it is what it is. But because I care so much about you and what you think and how you feel, it's difficult. So here are the 6 thoughts. Here are the 6 strategies. Number 1, resolving conflict requires knowing, accepting, and adjusting to your differences. Mm-hmm. All right. Number 2, resolving conflict requires defeating selfishness. Number 3, resolving conflicts requires pursuing the other person. Pursue, even if you ain't feeling it. Number 4, resolving conflict requires loving confrontation. If you take the word loving out, it does not work. Loving confrontation. Number 5, resolving conflict requires forgiveness. And last but not least, number 6, resolving conflict requires returning a blessing or an insult. You get insulted, it's an opportunity for you to bless your partner and give them grace. Grace. Thank you, Tiffany. So let me just, Tiffany said, you have to show her grace for an unintended mistake. What if the shoe was on the other foot? Aize, don't make her feel bad. And that's the part that I think was difficult for him to connect in with. Is that I already feel bad. And then you're going, And
I was trying to make you feel bad.
I mean, grace. Yeah, you're right. And that's something that you have to work on. Mm-hmm. Is it not?
You're right. Yeah. But you know what that comes from? That whole selfishness piece. So yeah, thank you, Tiffany, for lifting that up. But the whole selfishness piece is what showed up right there. So I'm sorry, babe.
I'm sorry too.
Love you. Really?
I'm just playing. All right, guys. This has been a good one. We love y'all. Pick one. Work on one. Figure out, are you going to stop playing in your relationship and start pushing? Okay? Stop playing and start pushing. Because we're about to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. Relationship Thursdays. Still share the video. Still share it. Share it.
The video, y'all.
All right, guys. Bye. Bye, Cherry. I see you. Thank you, Tiffany.